This is RuggaMatrix International, the world's leading independent rugby podcast, quoted more than anyone else. It's no wonder that our major partner is Strike, Australia's leading provider of Bluetooth car kits, so you can stay safe in your car and avoid hefty fines. So go hands-free with Strike. Enter the code RuggaMatrix and you'll get 10% off. Go to strike.com.au to get your discount. RuggaMatrix also brought to you by mybean.com.au. We sell at roasters' prices. Let's get it on. Hello and welcome to RuggaMatrix International. I'm your host, Juro San. This episode 194 and it's semi-final grudge match. That's a great title as Mark Cashman joins me.
What a great name for a show, Bronk, and that's what tomorrow night's going to be all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So we're giving you a show on the eve of the semi-final, the Super Rugby Semi-Final between the Waratahs and the Brumbies. They hate each other. It's going to be fantastic. The stadium behind me, close to sold out by the time we record this show. They're looking to get about 43,500 people. The other semi-final that will take place before, of course, is the Crusaders and the Sharks in Christchurch. So we're looking forward to seeing that one as well. Casho, let's get straight into it. First of all, the Brumbies trained here at the stadium. They look good. They are unchanged this week.
Yeah. I think they're travelling on quite nicely. Benny Mowen in one of our interviews, which is coming up, says that they're in a pretty good place, and I think they probably are. But whether the Tars are the immovable force, who knows? Let's find out soon.
All right, let's hear from Ben Mowen, who spoke exclusively to Mark Cashman just after the Brumbies press conference on the eve of this semi-final.
Big game. Favourites or underdogs?
I'd say we're probably underdogs coming up against the most consistent side in Super Rugby in their own backyard. So, look, that tag sits all right with us. Whether favourites or not doesn't really bother us. We know how big this challenge is, and that's often what brings the best out of our side. So we're excited by it.
The messages out of the camp earlier this week spoke of confidence about toppling the Waratahs. You still feel like that this time of the week?
Oh, look, we feel confident in our own ability, but in saying that, we know how big the task is. So, if you get a result in these big games, it's off a lot of hard work, and they're often the most rewarding ones. So I think, this time of year, they're the ones you want to be involved in, and as a side, we're excited by that.
You spoke earlier about blanking out the crowd at Allianz Stadium. What's the best way to do that?
Leading the game is definitely the best way to do that. It's hard to cheer for a side if you know that their night might be done, but suspect it'll be a tight game, and they'll play a factor. But we've played in tough environments before, and often that brings out our best performance. So, very much looking forward to it.
What's your mindset going into this game? Because quite possibly could be your last game in Australian rugby.
Just to play desperate. For me personally, I know this might be my last 80 minutes in Australia, so I've been playing that way for the last couple of weeks because that's the way our season's been, and it's enjoyable. That's what you want to be at this time of year, playing the sudden death footy.
Where's the game going to be won and lost?
It'll be won and lost in the way that the teams manage that pressure, because there are definitely going to be moments where you're leading, you're behind, or it looks like your season might be done. So the side that responds best in those circumstances is going to come out in front.
The team seems pretty confident coming into this game. Any variation from your routine this week?
No, look, the routine's been exactly the same. I think that gives us confidence that it has been so consistent for a long time now, and we try not to react too quickly whether we have a win or have a loss. We know the things that work for us, and we've been consistent with that in the last couple of years.
Game breakers, there's lots of them in that Waratahs side. Who have you got to shut down?
Well, obviously the guys that get spoken a lot about are the backs, but they can't win their ball unless the job's done up front. So I think guys like Cliff Parlow and Pockgate will have a big influence on the way the game goes, and obviously big ball carries for the Waratahs. So we've got to make sure we deal with those blokes early.
Will Skelton's made quite an impact. He's coming off the bench. The bench is going to be pretty important to why the last 20 pans out.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be massively important to the way the sides close out the game, and it's a good challenge for our guys. We set that to them at the start of the year to make sure that when they're coming on, they're winning games, and they've been really good at doing that this year. So hopefully that continues to be a good strength for us.
No matter what happens on Saturday night, the journey to France is going to be quite an enjoyable journey, I think.
Yeah, look, very much looking forward to it. Hopefully going in about a month's time, because in our eyes there's a fair bit of footy to go yet. But look, it'll be exciting, that next part, and we're just going to make sure we give good closure to this part that's been so enjoyable for the last couple of years.
Tell us about that decision. That must have been hard at the time you were Wallaby skipper.
Yeah, extremely hard. I agonised about it for a good 5 or 6 months, but look, since I made that decision, I haven't regretted it once. And that's not to say I don't watch the games with a heavy heart and wish I'd be involved, but the family time that I'm going to get over there and the extra time I got at home, even this year, from not being involved with the Wallabies, was really important to me. So you got to balance out your own individual motivations with family life, and look, I haven't regretted it for a second.
Adam Ashley Cooper mentioned yesterday that Matt Tamua was a man to shut down, to keep quiet. Is he spot on?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Matty Tamua's been in probably the best form of his career in the last couple of months, and having huge influence in the way we play our game, and very good attacking player, but just a massive defensive player for us. So, look, tough to shut down a player of his stature, but I've got no doubts that they'd be talking about that, just like we've been talking about trying to shut down some of their attacking threats.
There's been a few grenades thrown from either camp into the Tars, into the Brumbies. Is there genuine angst between these two teams?
Yeah, there is definitely. I think just the way that the last couple of seasons has unfolded, in particular, where it's often been between our two sides to see who finishes on top in the local conference, and when you got that closer competition with a side that's only 3 hours up the road, I think it adds a lot to the contest, and it's a great environment for the players to play in, but even better for the supporters, because you're going to get two sides that have a good understanding of how much is on the line.
After the game, third half, is it everyone good mates after that? Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, majority of the guys go into being Wallaby teammates. So, look, that's what you want. Is you want to play hard from 0 to 80, and then you go off and have a handshake and a beer with a mate, and you leave it as you leave it.
Can you bring us up to date with Brumby Jack? Where's he sitting this morning? Because he grabbed a bit of press this week.
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure. His movements haven't been hugely concerning of mine, but I know he'll have a presence in the stadium somewhere.
Great, thanks, Ben. Yeah, some interesting thoughts there from Benny Bronk, weren't they? He says there, and it's quite poignant about the angst between the two teams. Definitely there.
Yeah, they hate each other. There's no doubt about that, and it's going to be played out again on Saturday night. It's going to be an epic. Well, let's look at the Waratahs. They're training behind us as we record this, looking sharp in their session. I noticed Nathan Gray there, all the experienced heads. There's a few there that have been there before: Wycliffe Palu, Ben Robinson, Tatafu Plotter now, Rob Horn, Curtly Beale. A long time ago, I remember 2008 when the Waratahs played the Crusaders. But things have changed, and their captain is Michael Hooper, and the great cash cow himself was among the press corps as they spoke to the Waratahs captain, Michael Hooper.
We've got guys who've been here before, but you've got to do it at some point. You've got to play in these games at some point if you want to be guys contesting for the title. So, we feel we deserve to be here, and we've played really good footy in the last X amount of weeks.
Michael, what's your feelings about what did you learn from being in the Brumbies environment that you can bring to the table this week for your team?
Oh, it's such a long time ago that I was down there, and they've changed a lot, different coaching stuff and all that. So I think, me being down there, all those is pretty much the same as Adam Ashley Cooper being down there when he was. It's not really a factor for us at this point of the year. We've played them twice, and playing for the Waratahs now, I don't think there's much I can put on the table as far as when I was in Canberra.
How much of a role is the crowd going to play?
Huge. I hear there's 5,000 tickets to sell, so hopefully they can go in the next 24 hours. But mate, full stadium here is something that hasn't been done in a long time, so I can't wait for Tars, that is. So I can't wait to be a part of that tomorrow and get out there, and hopefully the weather clears up.
How much motivation does it give you playing against the Brumbies in a game like this?
Yeah, it's great. Great for the fact, a lot of the guys you're playing, and there's so much on the line. So, I think as a group now, we want to be a team that's, we're all competitive guys, but being competitive at the pointy end of the season is something that's really exciting for us. So, I think, you can't read into too much in the next 24 hours. You've got to build up slowly, and we've done that nicely this week. I had to taper the guys from having the weekend off. So, people are in good nick, and really excited to get onto the paddock tomorrow.
Whereabouts does this game sit in games that you have played? The most important so far?
It'll be the most important Super Rugby game I've played ever. As far as a team, for a lot of guys, would be in the same situation. I think it's it's got a good little good meaning for us. The fact that we're a tight knit group at the moment, and you want to do it for each other rather than individually. You want to hold up the title as a group, and you want to see the end to this year as a group and get into the final. And there's a huge hurdle in front of us in tomorrow, and one that I think if we can put a good performance out, will put us in great stead for the next week. So it is a week-to-week process. We know that, but to have the Brumbies tomorrow at home is awesome and really up there for a lot of guys.
How important has it been not to play the game before kick-off?
Yeah, I think it's very important. Every week we've tried not to do that. You can't get too ahead of yourself. So, we'll taper off today, as I've been saying, and keep it pretty light, and then rip in tomorrow.
Minor premiers playing at home, everyone's calling you favourites. How much pressure does that put you under?
Oh, we've been under pressure this whole year. As the Waratahs outfit, you're under pressure. The start of the year, everyone's saying you've got a good roster and you've got to be able to perform, and we haven't done that, and now finally we're here in this situation. So it's nothing new to us, this pressure. We've had big games on the line. The Highlanders, we got to win. That was pressure to win the minor premiership. Then the next week, when there's nothing on the line, we had to, put a performance out. So we've been dealing with all these different situations the last couple of weeks. So we're in good nick going into this week. I wouldn't, if you had said at the start of the year, would I want a week off at this point? I would have said no. You want to keep things going, but it's helped us out this week, and everyone's fit, ready to go, and excited. Yeah, I think so. We've developed a good game this year, and we've managed to put that together in tough points of the season, like I was talking about, the Highlanders and Reds last week or 2 weeks ago, for example. But then we've fallen over at different points of the season. So, look, for us, semi-final time, as I've been saying, not many of us have played this. We've got to be able to, back all our systems, back what we're good at, and back our personal, individual performance.
Ben Mowen was talking this morning about what it means for the Brumbies to play the Waratahs. You're a former Brumby, obviously, Does it work the same both ways? Is the passion the same both ways to beat them?
Well, I think both sides of the jerseys now. I think Brumbies have a different look upon the Tars as the Tars would have on Brumbies. I think the thing is, for us, it's really exciting. It's the fact they've been there. They've been the team that's got into the final last year and went really close to winning the thing, and they're again in the finals this year. So it's more the fact that it's a competitive environment, and we want to beat them because they're a really good team.
How primed is the pack for the sort of that showdown, the collision?
Hopefully up for it. Yeah, I mean, our pack's going to be crucial in getting dominance tomorrow and getting one over the Brumbies. So I think that's where the game, as always said, it's going to be won, but it's a massive, important part for us tomorrow.
How's the coach been this week?
Yeah, it's good. Good. We had 2 weeks to dwell on it, so to sit. So it's been, you can't rev yourself up. I mean, we've been talking here about not going too early and not playing the game in your head before you even get there. So he's been good. He's been building us up nicely, and as a leadership group, been trying to do the same. And now it's getting to where everything's going to come to a head.
They're going to try and slow down your ball at the ruck. I mean, physical dominance, is that the key?
Oh yeah, they're very good at that. The Brumbies as a group, we know their focus is to slow our ball down, get turnovers, and we play with the ball a lot in hand. So they'll definitely be focusing on that as one of their things that they can do to disrupt our game. And they've, in the first round of the year, they did that. In the second year, in the second round, they got a bit of pay. So that's going to be a major focus for them, among other things. And we've got to try and negate that with good physical ball carries, clean outs, all that simple forward stuff.
Michael, in this high-pressure environment, how important is it not to close up, to still play the game that you've been playing so successfully all year?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times you see a team start to play defensive 50, 60 minutes in when they're trying to hold a lead, it's a really negative thing, and what's been positive for us is we've built games towards the latter part of them, and then started scoring 2 to 3 tries in the last 20 minutes, which is really nice. So we're in good shape, as I've been saying. We've had a nice run in with good pressure games, pressure situations where things are on the line, and we've able to put an 80-minute performance together, something which has been a growing thing for us in the past 2 years, and particularly this year, where would have lapses of about 10 minutes, maybe start of the second half. So, you know, for us, it's about minimising those lapses and really, you know, getting on top of opportunities.
Leading on from that,
Sorry?
What will playing here mean to you?
We haven't lost here this year, so that's one nice thing to have in our back pocket. Means a lot. We haven't played the Brumbies here in a long time, so that's another nice thing to have. And you know, we train here every day, so it means a hell of a lot. Packed house hasn't happened in a long time for the Waratahs. So yeah, as a group, you know, we've tried to become a team that we enjoy how we play, and I think the fans have, you know, seen that and really gotten behind that. So, you know, to see however many come out tomorrow, and hopefully it's almost close to capacity, will be awesome, and really a reflection upon that it's, you know, not just a team thing, it's about the whole organisation and about the fans as well.
at that game in 2002, I think Tarman jumped out of a Black Hawk helicopter. Where were you? Were you at the ground?
I think I was, yeah. It was a bit high. He jumped out a bit. Looks like he almost did his knees in. I remember that really well. But yeah, yeah, it's cool to be able to, you know, be here and sort of a full circle for a lot of guys. You know, and really special, I think, for, you know, people like your Cliffies, Adam Ashley Coopers, Ben Robinsons. You know, it's all about, you know, we enjoy each other's company. We want to put them, you know, and finish their years off well, and you want to play for each other. And, you know, the older statesmen of the group, you want to be able to, you know, help them achieve something. So, you know, that's what we've been talking about, and really exciting.
So were your dad brought you along with your brothers?
No, Dad, I think I just jumped on the ferry and came across. But I think, you know, I came out to a lot of games where I've watched guys who I'm playing with now, which is really cool. And now you get to play with them in these important games. And, you know, it's the same situation. I'm sure everyone in the team has a different example of that. And that's why it's going to be special tomorrow night.
What sort of pay are you looking to get out of your bench?
A lot. Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward. We need a lot from the bench. They can close off the game in the last 20 minutes, or, you know, longer if they have to come on through injury or whatnot.
Yeah, interesting aside, Bronk, wasn't it? Michael Hooper, last time the Tars played a semi-final here, jumped on the ferry from Manly and came across with a couple of his brothers. Interesting facts.
Yeah, he's matured very, very quickly, hasn't he, Michael Hooper? Fantastic number 7. So the interesting thing about this game is it's pitting together two pretty different coaching setups. Michael Cheika is a very emotive character, and having spoken to many Wallabies over the years about who've trained and coached, been coached by Michael Cheika, find him a very inspirational coach, a coach you want to play for. There's no bullcrap about Michael Cheika. From the other side, there's the very analytical and very calm Stephen Larkham working in tandem with Laurie Fisher. But Larkham is the head coach, and he has ultimate responsibility now with Laurie Fisher moving on to Gloucester, and of course Stephen Larkham taking over earlier than expected after Jake White. Well, Cash Cow was once again leading the press pack as Michael Cheika had the final word before the semi-final.
Just finished a team meeting in there, Michael. What was the message?
We've just been talking, you know, pretty much about staying as who we are, you know, doing what we've been doing all season, and really sticking to that. In fact, probably trying to really deliver our identity more than we ever have this season, you know, because there's going to be a big crowd here, and there's no better place to show it.
When you say deliver your identity more than ever, what do you mean?
About our running game, and, you know, also the physicality that we like to bring as part of our game, just the things that we've tried to do every week that we've been working on as part of our, you know, team's identity. So, you know, we really want to try to put that on show, you know, when it counts.
And if it gets wet or slippery though, how hard would it be to kind of follow through on that?
I think at this stage of the season, mate, we'll just have to go. You know, we'll just have to do it anyway. I don't imagine we're going to start kicking now, you know, so we'll have to maybe get a bit closer and shorten up our passes, but we can still play in the rain. There's no issue there.
Is there excitement in the group?
Yeah, I think so, you know. I think everyone's, like a journalist asked me the other day when I was doing an interview, I think genuinely for this team, you know, the days perhaps of anxiety have been replaced by excitement. You know, we're not, you know, we know there's winning and losing, but we're not going to worry about losing. We're going to put everything we can into getting the best play possible, which will lead to the result for us. So I like the way that's feeling, you know, it's good.
The head coach seems excited.
Who, me? Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm excited, I suppose. You know, I think it's about balance too, you know. Don't get too carried away. Still stay on the basics of the game and nothing changes. It's just that the volume goes up a little bit, you know. And that's only good because it's much more exciting to play when there's more at stake.
Heineken Cups. Heineken Cups. What did you learn from that experience at Leinster?
Yeah, I've learnt plenty. You know, I think just around how to manage those occasions, and you know, I was in a Heineken Cup semi very similar. You know, Leinster Munster. There was 80,000 people there. You know, a big part in the nation's sporting fabric and bragging rights and all those things. You know, so look, it was a good experience for me, but at the end of the day, all it's going to really count is what happens inside the white lines for that 80 minutes, and all I can do is try to get the lads into the best shape possible, and I think that come tomorrow night, I think they'll be feeling in that shape.
Throwing back to that time, none of your players have been in a car accident this week, have they?
Yeah, Rocky was in a car accident that week, wasn't he? And, I think the poor guy who crashed into him was dying because he was a Leinster supporter. He thought he'd taken out the #1 player. But no, it's been actually very smooth. You know, usually you've got someone in a hyperbaric chamber or recovering or a quick, you know, you got to get fit. But no, it's been very smooth and very relaxed, really. Good focus. And I think the players have been really balanced in their approach to the game and what they need to do, but also the balance in preparation, not getting overexcited too early, you know, because we've had to sit on our heels for a week. Just, you know, get ourselves exactly right come Saturday night.
So going back to your comment about anxiety and excitement, I mean, do you feel that there has been a psychological breakthrough here at the Waratahs?
I'm not qualified as a psychiatrist to give that decision, Brett.
As a pop psychologist?
No, I'm not really qualified for that decision. No, I just look at their there's no science to what I'm saying. I just have a look at them and see the way they're talking and how they're looking, and you know, the smile on their face. And I think they understand the formidable challenge that's going to be in front of them, but they're actually looking forward to it.
The Brumbies are taking a lot of confidence from the fact that they're playing knockout rugby and they're used to playing this style of knockout rugby from last year and this year, yet your team hasn't really been challenged in the back end of the game for a while. Does that give them some sort of an advantage?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't think there's any of those. As I've always said, you know, when we're asked during the season about momentum and stopping, you know, I've been asked that question many times this season, and I've always said, if you go back through your notes, each game on its merits. You know what I mean? I don't think that last week impacts this week for anyone. You know, certainly hope last week doesn't impact us this week because we didn't play, so we'll get no points. But I think that it's just about how you prepare for the game, you know, on any given day against a different opponent, possibly different climatic conditions, different referees, always a new set of circumstances arriving for each game. And I've really tried to harness that idea in the team, that forget about all those things, because if you believe in momentum, that means it's nearly impossible to break a losing streak as well. So, you know, you just got to take each game on its merits, and this is one that we're really going to have really good detail in. But, you know, I think, like I said before, it's going to come down to the 80 minutes inside the white lines on Saturday night.
Michael, for the really creative people in the team like Bernard, like KB, when the pressure gets on, how important is it that they have that confidence to keep playing their style?
I'm not a big believer in the word confidence, you know. I think that belief is more important, because confidence can come and go. If something doesn't go right, in fact, I don't want them to stop doing it. I want them to start doing it more, because that's the way we are. That's the type of team we are. They're the types of players that they are. So we've just got to be very good at doing that. And I think that, you know, what we're trying to say is the more that we've always tried to do the opposite, I suppose, what we're expected. So if you feel like the pressure should tighten you up, well, let's do the exact opposite and open up a little bit more.
And they've got that belief now?
Well, look, I think so. I believe in them, and I think they believe in their teammates as well, and that's always a very powerful weapon. But you know, truth be told, there's a variable in this whole picture, and that's the opposition. And you've got to make sure you do it to make sure you can overcome them.
Last 20 minutes, Michael. You're obviously going to be looking for a bit of pay out of your bench. That's a critical part of your 23.
Yeah, I think our idea of trying to play 80 minutes all the time, and not just the bench, but also the fitness of the starting 15 as well. So, you know, it's been a big thing for us. We've trained hard for 2 years now, or verging on 2 years, or it's around getting fitter, and hopefully that fitness will benefit us in the back end of games. And the other element, you know, is always the the mental side of it too can be quite draining sometimes, especially it's going to be tight, there's no doubt about that. So it's all about staying composed and, you know, not wasting your energy on things you don't need to waste it on. And then when the bench comes on, making sure they lift the standard of the others, not just bring a standard themselves, but they come on and lift the other players in the team.
How important has the defensive structure been in being able to play some rugby late in the piece?
Well, I think it's imperative for every team, you know what I mean, and staying connected in defence and being aggressive and, you know, believing in your system and just reading well, working hard, all those things. You know, like there's nothing different in this game that we wouldn't have believed for any of the other games we've played this season. It's just that, obviously, you know, we're trying to do it a little bit harder.
Did you bump into any Brumbies players outside then?
No.
You've obviously been aiming top 2 the whole year. Now you're there. Are you playing to the standard that you hope to be for this stage of the season, or how much more improvement do you think you can get out of the team?
I think there's definitely room for improvement. There's always room to improve because you've got to evolve as well. Opposition's trying to shut you down from what they see. There's so much video available to teams now, so many different angles that they can shut you down. So Brumbies are a very good team at doing that. So we'll have a few new things that we might try this week, and then keep evolving our game and keep working on our skill set so that we're ready to take advantage of any of the opportunities that come our way. But there's always improvement in our team, and yeah, I'm happy with the way the team's playing. I would be lying if I said I wasn't, but I know that there's still a genuine place for improvement. I think, in particular, in the physicality of the game. You know, I think that Brumbies are a very good physical team, and I think when we played them in Sydney last time, we weren't as physical as we needed to be in the contest part of the game, and I'd like to see us improve in that area.
And any thoughts on the Sharks and the Crusaders?
No.
They're clearly going to try and slow your ball down. The ruck. What have you come up with to try and get over that?
Just ruck better, carry better, place the ball better, you know, and make sure that we don't leave any grey areas in that part of the game.
Have you spoken to the referee this week? Will you be talking to him?
No. So well, I've got no influence on the referee. Referee's a very qualified referee. He wouldn't be qualified semi-final otherwise. He'll do his job and we'll do ours, and hopefully we'll do it as close to the law as we can.
Yeah, Cheika, insightful as always, I think. I think he has his team's head in the right place, and I think they're not getting overexcited about what's going to go on tomorrow night here at Allianz Stadium. They're concerned. They're excited about the opportunity to show the game that they think that they can play. Let's hope they can put on the field.
Absolutely. So prediction, Mark Cashman for tomorrow night. Firstly, Crusaders Sharks, and then the Waratahs Brumbies.
Oh, listen, got to go for the Crusaders. They're playing at home. They're in pretty good nick at the moment. Richie McCaw may not be the Richie McCaw of 2 or 3 years ago, but I think their structures and their home crowd's going to get them home in Christchurch. All right, that game followed by the Brumbies. Well, Brumbies v Waratahs, and I think playing at home suits the Waratahs, and I think they're going to have 40-odd thousand people behind them, and I think they can win. I think that they can play well. They can show the crowd, really make this Sydney crowd fall back in love with the Waratahs, which hasn't been happening for quite a few years. No, it's a really valuable shot in the arm for the game in Australia. There's no doubt about that. Casho, I believe the Crusaders will be too strong for the Sharks, but you know, I've got a niggling feeling that they might pull off an upset, but the Crusaders should win that game. I'm going to differ with you. I think the Brumbies will cause a major boil over here in Sydney, and I have a reason for that. I just think that the Waratahs have been playing well all year, but this is winner takes all, and they haven't been in that situation where the Brumbies have. They've lost a final last year. They know what to expect. They said they were too excited last year, even though they had to travel all over the world to play in that final against the Chiefs. They won an epic. They've said they've been playing finals footy before the finals because they had to beat the Force to get there in the first place. I think they will come with a really good game plan, very smart coaching group led by Stephen Larkham. They'll take on the passion of the Waratahs. It's going to be a classic, but when push comes to shove, I just think the Brumbies will win in a ball over, and it will be a great game, but I just can't wait, but that's who I'm tipping. Interesting thoughts, Bronk, but probably from an Australian rugby point of view, at least we'll have at least one team in the final.
Yeah, absolutely, and who knows, the Brumbies could get through and play the Sharks in the final in Durban, and that would pit Stephen Larkham up against his master previously in Jake White, so that'll be an interesting finish as well. All right, hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry it's a late one this week, but we had to get the very latest information in, and the vision and the interviews from the two teams involved in the Sydney final. The Christchurch final. Hopefully we can find out from one of those guys next week how they're feeling heading into the final. But that is it for our program this week. Hope you enjoyed all the final last word, the dicing and the toing and the throwing. It's all great stuff leading into the last week, and I really hope that some of these players leave it all on the paddock and give us a game that I think is worthy of a Sydney final.
Not sure about you, Bronk, but I'm excited.
There he is. All right. Thank you, Mark Cashman. Mark Cashman joining me and doing all the great work in the media scrum. We will see you next week on RuggaMatrix International. In the meantime, enjoy your rugby, enjoy your Super Rugby Finals.